we tend to think that I just want to take a little time to welcome my viewers. Welcome, viewers, welcome. I am happy to have my viewers on social media with us right now. And this evening, we're just talking a little bit about moms, mothers. Yes, and I'm saying that mothers are like angels. They are like angels up on this earth. And I'm giving you the opportunity, my listeners and viewers, to send me a text message or a WhatsApp message or just call and just, if you want to big up your mom, you have the opportunity to do that because on Sunday we will be celebrating Mother's Day. So, I hear a lot of people say that, Mother's Day is commercialized and it's a money making thing and stuff. But I want to tell you something, listeners, that as mothers, we just want our kids to recognize us and to make us special. And to make someone special doesn't mean that you have to spend money on them. It doesn't mean that you have to go overboard. It means that you can get up in the morning, you can make your mom breakfast, you can make a nice dinner, whatever it is that you have. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to have a lot of money, but you can do things and you can also make things. And I find it so precious when someone takes the time to actually make something for me instead of going out there and buying something. So I remember one of my Mother's Day gifts from my husband and son was a jewelry box. And my husband is very good with his hands, but he sat down and he took my son and they both crafted it together. And I still have it because it was special, because instead of going out there and buying something, they took the time to create something for me. And I really, really appreciated that. So I'm just saying that you don't have to go out there and spend a whole heap of money. And if you are not creative enough to make something, there are little things out there that you can buy, or if you can't buy anything, how about going outside and just picking some flowers and making a nice vase with it, doing something great for your mom. You can do that. You can do that. You don't have to say, oh, but this person, I'm in the store and I see this person buy this expensive gift for their mom. Let me tell you something. And it goes for the spouses too, because you may not have as much money as the next man, but you can do something special for the mother of your children or your child. You can make dinner. You can get up and make breakfast. You can pick a rose outside. If you don't have a rose, you pick a hibiscus and put it in even if you don't have a vase, in a little bottle or something, and give her breakfast in bed and say, honey, I thank you. I thank you so much for being a good mother to my child. I thank you so much for this precious gift that you have given me. Show your appreciation. Show it. It means a lot. It does mean a lot, And again, I have to say that, some persons may be able to buy diamonds and gold and all kind of different jewelry or expensive perfumes and stuff. And especially if you do that all the time, and you do something now out of the ordinary, something that you've never normally done, like just prepare the breakfast, even if it's for your wife alone because you're not very good in the kitchen, and even if it's a boiled egg and some cereal and you put that little hibiscus on it or a little rose or something, let me tell you something, that woman would appreciate it more than any diamond or gold. And that's the truth. Sometimes we think that we have to do things in an extravagant way to make people appreciate it and accept it and so. But it's the simple things, it's the little things that mean more, especially, I know, to women, to mothers. So mothers are special. And I want us to remember always that mothers are just like angels. So if you have a poem, if you have something that you really want to share about your mom, I talked about my mother a lot on Tuesday evening on Tuesday Bliss. because I just think she was awesome. She was a one of a kind woman. And, I just love her for that. You can talk about your mom. You can share something special about your mother. Again, I'm going to remind you of the numbers. And those of you who are on social media, you can do your WhatsApp text, or you can just send a note right where you are on your social media, on the social media page, and I will read it for you. Yes, I most definitely will read it for you. You know, some people say, oh, Mother's Day is a pagan thing and all of that. There ain't nothing pagan about celebrating your mother. Nothing at all that is pagan about it. We you know what, listeners, viewers, we should all celebrate each other. And I think that we should set aside a time, especially for families. Aside a time when you just big up your family. Let's just say you have a family dinner and you just go around and go around the table and just say something about each family member, what makes them special to you. And trust me, if you do something like that, it will be just simply awesome. Awesome. So, because so many times, listeners, we take each other for granted. So many times we keep taking each other for granted. And yes, people do things for us, go the extra mile. Your sister, your brother go the extra mile. And you just don't let them know how much you really appreciate it. Shall I tell you that? So, the Beautiful Ashes Symposium, we have had some stuff in the States that we needed to get down to Jamaica. And I was in a quandary as to how to get it. And my brother just offered to jump on a plane and take them down for me. And he took his days off to come and do that. Now, I had to let him know how much I appreciated that act, because he could have said, oh, I work so much and I'm tired, and to just take a trip to Jamaica and back is going to make me even more tired. And I'm sure that it did. I'm sure that it did. But to me, it was a selfless act, and I so appreciate it. So we have to let others know. And Mother's Day is about letting our mothers know how much we appreciate them, how much they mean to us, how much a mother is. So I want you to remember that. And I want you to make it special for your mom. Make it special for your mom. And husbands, you don't have an excuse not to make it special. You may say, oh, but she's not my mother. Well, she is the mother of your children. She is the one that bore those kids in her tummy for 9 months. And some of them it would have caused a lot of pain. And in labor, some persons labor for so many hours. Yes, some of us, like me, had a C-section, but it didn't mean that it was any easier. Because you know what? Every time a woman gives birth or even gets pregnant, it's a life and death situation. Believe it or not. Yes. And so we have to make them know that we appreciate them. When children are sick, mothers are the ones that stay up and take care of them. So Mother's Day is a celebration honoring the mother of the family or individual, as well as motherhood and the maternal bonds and influences of mothers in society. It is celebrated on different days in many parts of the world, but most commonly in the months of March or May. I remember that my sister, who lived in England, she used to always send us Happy Mother's Day wishes in March. Yes, and I have a non-biological daughter in England, and I remember in March she did send me Mother's Day wishes too, and I sent it back to her. So have you ever thought about motherhood? Have you ever really given consideration to it? Unfortunately, not every woman who bears a child really experience motherhood. They experience giving birth, but they don't really take care of their children that the way that they should, because some women, for whatever reason, would give birth and leave their child, just leave the child up like that. I'm not going to talk about the ones who give their kids up for adoption, because people do that not because they don't want to be a good mother, but because they actually want to give their children a better life. And so therefore, there's nothing wrong with that if they realize that they're not capable of giving the child a better life. Then, there's really nothing wrong with looking out for your child like that. But there are some persons who give up their children, not because they want to give them a better life, but because they don't want to take the responsibility of being a mother. But might I say, though, that it is better that they actually give birth to the child than to abort the child. At least the child has a fighting chance when he or she comes into the world. But motherhood is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm here chatting, listeners. But, if you do have something to say about your mom, if you want to send a greetings to your mother, if you want to text something on your social media page or via WhatsApp, then do feel free to do so. I will read it, not because I'm chatting nonstop. I will take a break and read it, okay? I have been accused of asking my listeners and viewers to call, and then I just keep talking. But I will break. I will break and take your call or to read your messages. I promise you that. It's just that I don't want to be silent on the air, right? I can't be silent on the air. My producer would not be very happy with me. So therefore, I don't want that to happen. But I have to say, I have some awesome women in my family who are mothers. And right now, I want to just say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in my family when it comes. My elder sister, all my siblings, my nieces. You're all so awesome. You're all so very, very awesome. And I just continue to pray God's blessings over your life. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to the women of Missions Possible Community Church in Galena and in Discovery Bay. I want to say a very special Happy Mother's Day to the wife of our pastor and bishop, Elisa Alexander. Beautiful, beautiful woman of God. I just want to shout out to all my former church sisters. We're still sisters in the Lord, from Community Christian Church, from Assemblies of the Firstborn International. I want to just say Happy Mother's Day to all of you. And I do pray and hope that your kids will make your day very, very special. Your spouses will ensure that you have an awesome, awesome day. Yes, because guess what? These women are special. These women who are called mothers, they are awesome. They are just simply awesome. Do you know that mothers give up a lot? They do give up a lot. And they don't think about what they give up for their children, but they do give up a lot. And I want you to remember that. Remember that. A good mother will not see her child in need of something and not make sacrifices to ensure that her child gets what she needs. She won't do that at all. She will make the sacrifices. And if it means that she will do without, she will make the sacrifice. I know that my mom did, and I have done it for my child. I have done it for kids that are not mine, because I love the fact that when you can nurture a child, when you can sow into a child's life, you can pour into a child, then you know that you are helping to mold what our society looks like. When we do that, we're molding our society to look like what we hope that it will look like. So when you pour into a child and you teach them good values, you teach them values, right attitudes, you teach them responsibility, you teach them, you give them love and teach them how to love, then it's a good thing. I see we have something from Donna Lee on the screen. It says, I'm going to read that very soon, Donnelly. I really have to log in. I've not logged in. It says, Happy Mother's Day when it comes to mommy. Thank you for the best mom to me. Son, granddaughter, stepson, etc. We love you. And that's to Sylvia Smythe from Donnelly Dunn. Thank you, Donnelly. And again, Sylvia Smythe, Donnelly sending happy Mother's Day to you. And she's saying thank you for being the best mom to her and her siblings and children. That's so wonderful. Thank you, Donnelly. I appreciate that. So, we really have to appreciate our mothers. We have to. And I don't want you to wait until your parents have passed, your mom has passed, before you let her know, because that's going to be too late. Serena Everblessed Johnson says good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Thank you for even greeting us. I appreciate that. So yes, as I was saying, it's important. There is a saying that don't give me roses when I am gone. And let's think about it. How many persons really indulge in giving people roses when they're gone? Are you giving them? No, you're not. You're making a show of something, because they can't see the roses, they can't smell the roses, they can't experience the roses when they're dead. They can't do that. So what do we need to do? We need to ensure that we give our moms roses when they are alive. And we're not talking about physical roses alone, not at all. We are talking about letting them know how much you love them, how much you appreciate them, how much they mean to you. We might not all be creative. We might not all be able to write the best of poems, but if you write, just pour your heart out. If you don't want to speak it, you can write it. Just pour it out. Just say what's in your heart. It doesn't have to rhyme. It will mean a lot to your mom. So here's a poem that says, Mom, when I think of those I know and love, I can't think of one you don't tower above. You are better by far than all the rest. These 4 words said all. Mom, you're the best. And I'm sure that many of us feel that way about our mothers. Many of us feel that our mothers are the best. And guess what? All of us should think that my mom is the best. Yes. We don't have to compare our mothers with any other person. Never do that. Your mom is who she is, right? And she loves you and she gives you the love the way that she knows how to. So some persons are not very affectionate, so they won't hug and kiss like another person, but they will make sacrifices. They ensure that your uniforms are well pressed and you're neat and tidy when you're going to school. They make sure that you have breakfast to eat, even if it's just some porridge, even if that's all they have, but they make sure that you get it. So even if it's one dumpling and it's going to be shared, she makes sure that you get your piece of dumpling. She may not hug you as much, she may not kiss you as much, but she shows her love in a different way. My family is a huggy-feely family. We always like to hug and kiss and stuff like that. So yes, I like that, and I give the affection as much as I receive the affection. But not everybody is like that. So understand who your mother is and don't compare her, but appreciate her for who she is, what she represents. She may, she may take the time to to teach you things. Learn from her. I remember hearing this story about this mother who she was illiterate. She didn't know how to read or write, and her child was going to school, and every evening that child comes home, that mom would ask, did you get homework? Yes, mommy, go and do your homework now. And when the child finished, I want to see your homework. And she would take that homework, that book, and she would look through the book, not understanding anything because she couldn't read or write. But she wanted to make her child believe that she was checking on on his homework. And that child, later on in life, he was shocked to find out that his mom could not read or write. And but he appreciated the fact that she did all of that because he was always at the top of his class, because his mom always kept tabs on him. And she may not have been the one to hug and to kiss him all the time, but the interest that she showed in him and in his education meant a lot to the child, to the boy. I think he became a doctor, and it was because of what she did that kept him grounded. And so therefore, we have to do that. So we have Sylvia Smythe saying, good night, sis. Just want to say big up my mom, Editha Smythe. Happy Mother's Day when it comes. You are one in a million. Love you, Mom. Yes. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for that. So that was Sylvia Smythe. Okay. Okay, producer. Yes. So that's Sylvia. So we had Donnelly sending Mother's Day greetings to Sylvia, and then Sylvia sending Mother's Day greetings to her mom. Isn't that beautiful? It's so wonderful. I and sometimes I wish my mom was, well, I always wish she was still alive, but sometimes I have to tell you, listeners and viewers, that I do get a little jealous sometimes, especially around about Mother's Day, when I see, people hugging their moms and wishing their moms happy Mother's Day and stuff. But I feel so blessed to have had that woman as my mother. And she always prayed. She said her prayer was to God, help me to live to see my children past the worst. Meaning, when she says past the worst, meaning that they grow up to be adults and can fend for themselves. My mom died when I was 44. Yes. And trust me, God answered her prayers. And she not only died when I was 44, but she died when I was pregnant. And that, I think she was satisfied to know that I would have someone else to care for and love as much as I loved her. So her going would not have left such a big void, because I would have had my child. I think she was very satisfied, very happy that I was pregnant, even though the pregnancy was so rough. But listeners, while she was there on her sick bed and I was so sick in my pregnancy, I used to go and lie down beside my mom and just have her put her hand on my tummy. And I used to just feel so much better. Yeah. My mother had a special touch. And I'm sure you can say the same thing for your moms too, that your mother has a special touch. Because I used to suffer from dysmenorrhea really, really bad. And whenever my mom is around me and she puts her hand on my tummy, just the warmth of her hand would make my tummy feel so much better. You can say maybe it's just psychological. I don't know, but she had that effect on me. So yeah, I may feel a little jealous or a little envious when I see everybody else with their moms on Mother's Day. But I feel truly blessed that I had my mother for 44 years. Because the truth is, some kids don't. Some kids, their mom die at child's birth or when they're pretty young, and they don't get that love from their mothers. And then sometimes they end up in families that don't take care of them, that don't love them the way that, a mother, to even help them through this period without their mothers. So again, let me just remind you of the numbers if you want to call or send a WhatsApp message. It's 876-434-5005 or 876-810-5011. You can call WhatsApp or text WhatsApp. We will take your calls, or you can continue to do that on social media, and we will also read your text as I have been doing. Flowers for Mother. I wish you sunshine on your cloudy days, a burst of yellow to pierce the gray. I wish you spring's flowers on winter's day, a burst of color in the midst of pale. I wish you rain when your fields are dry, a blooming of life where flowers die. I wish you joy every single day and smiles to wash your pain away. I wish you wings so that you can fly with the angels in heaven's skies. I wish you the fulfillment of dreams unfulfilled and the contentment of and the contentment that unfulfillment brings. My dearest mother, you see, I wish you all that you have wished for me on this and every single day. I wish you flowers to brighten up your days. I wish you wings so that you can fly with an angel. So I'm trying to get the name. That's Injecti Chesonoi. That's some kind of French name. All right. So that's a poem for mothers. And like I said, you may not be as eloquent. You may not be as wordy. You may not be as creative, but speak from your heart. Speak from your heart. And you know something? The words, I love you, they speak volumes. And so sometimes that's all it takes is, Mom, I love you. Or, Mom, thank you so much. Thank you for being my mother. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for being so special. That's all, And it works. It works. I can tell you it works. Because sometimes mothers feel so unappreciated. They make the sacrifices. They run themselves ragged for their kids. And all that happens is as if they just get more work on top of work. And not a word of thank you. Not a word to say, Mother, I appreciate all that you have done for me, all that you're doing for me. Let's not be takers. Let's also be givers. And again, I implore you, my listeners, viewers, don't wait until your mom passed before. So I remember this family. I remember this woman, she died. And I remember how much her daughter cried and kept beating herself. And I looked at her and I shook my head, because I know that mother yearned for that child's love. That mother yearned for that child's touch. That mother yearned for so much from that child and didn't receive it. And when she died, that child cried so much and kept beating up on her chest. Gave her mom a beautiful, lovely funeral. But the mother didn't see that. And all the beautiful words that were spoken, the mother didn't hear that. And that made me feel so sad. It made me feel so sad because I knew how much that mother would have loved to hear those words from her child. And so I'm saying to you, don't wait until it's too late. Do not wait until it's too late, because when your mother has passed, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you say, it's not going to make a difference to your mom. It's not going to make a difference at all. So don't wait until it's too late. Mom is such a very special word, the loveliest I've ever heard. A toast to you above all the rest. Mom, you're so special. You're simply the best. That's true. Those are the kind of things that mothers want to hear. And I'm saying to you, mothers, yes, I'm going to say to you now, mothers, that you have a responsibility to your children. So I'm talking about all the mothers who do have kids and don't give their children the time of day. You don't make the sacrifices because as I said before, not all women that give birth qualifies to be a mother. Not all women who give birth behave like a mother. So when God bless our wombs with children, and as the word of God says, children are a heritage from the Lord. They become our earthly responsibility, and we ought to ensure that we nurture them, we love them, we provide for them, we meet their needs when they are young and they're dependent on us. We give them guidance. We pray for them. We teach them the word of God. We grow them up in the ways of the Lord. They are our responsibility, and it's a God-given responsibility. We can't shirk that. We can't just turn our backs on that, because one day we are going to be sorry if we do that. You check most of the persons that become involved in murders, in violence, criminal acts and stuff like that. A lot of them didn't get the guidance that they should have gotten. Some of them, the parent provide everything for them except the love and the guidance that the child needs, the time, the quality time that the child needs. And so therefore, the child grows up expecting or behaving as if or thinking that the world owes them something. And so they go out there and they try to get it any way that they can, because the world owes them, because I'm used to a certain lifestyle. And when my mother and my father can't give me that anymore, since they didn't give me the proper guidance, then I'm going to go get it. So our responsibility is to shape them, teach them the right things, teach them responsibility, love them and let them feel your love and know that they are loved and they are cherished. And you grow them in the right way. When you do that, you're forming society, this kind of society that you want, that you hope to live in when you're older. Teach your children to be gentle and kind and loving. Teach them to be honest and truthful. Teach them to have integrity. Teach them to be men and women that can stand by their word. Teach them to be strong but mindful of others. Teach them to respect everyone and to respect life, and to understand that they cannot give life, so they shouldn't take life. We ought to teach them that. And when you see your child is doing something wrong, don't be afraid to correct them. Don't be afraid to call them out on it. Don't uphold with it. If your child comes home from school and you know that you didn't give your child a certain thing, and you see that that child has something, where did you get this from? Oh, John gave it to me. Don't just take their word for it. contact John and John's parents and find out about it. Give it back. You know, I think one day, I think it was Teachers Day or something. I don't remember what it was, but I went to my son's school. He was going to a primary school, and I went to his school to teach for the day. And I'm a trained teacher. Oh my God, those kids gave me a warm time. But there was this one child who stole something. And the other kids told me that, yes, miss, he stole it. He's the one, he's always stealing. And I just couldn't believe it. And I asked him, and he looked me in my eyes, straight in my eyes, and he said, no, miss, I didn't take it. And the kids said, miss, he took it. And I said, but he said he didn't take it. Miss, he took it, miss, he took it. Yes, miss, this is what he does all the time. I said, okay, bring your bag, let me see. And it was there in his bag. And I said, how did it get there? Miss, I guess I put it in there. I didn't remember that I took it. Now, clearly, he's not just a thief, but he's a liar. I couldn't let that just rest like that. I had to tell his teacher and ask her to contact the child's parents to let them know what was happening with this child. Because sometimes, you know, kids do these things because they want attention too. So as an adult, what do? We have to ensure that when we see these things, we try to nip them in the bud before it's too late. Because if you leave it, then we are allowing this child to grow up to become a criminal. And when they say that it takes a community to raise a child, I remember when we were growing up, when I was growing up, we were very mindful of what we do when we're walking on the road and how we behave. Because if we were misbehaving and an adult sees us, that adult could reprimand us, could call us out. And we couldn't go home and complain and say that, you know, Mr. Harry called us out because we were, well, misbehaving, because we couldn't misbehave anyways, right? But too many times we just allow, as adults, we see people, still see children do things, and we just let it slide because it's not my child. And I know that our societies on a whole, not just in Jamaica that we live in, people have become so violent and so aggressive. But we must be able to correct people in love and children in love. Let them know that you're not being aggressive with them. You're not there to shame them or anything like that. But tell them, I see girls on the road and the way they behave. I see girls walking. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to say goodbye to those that we're streaming that are on our social media, and I want to say thank you for joining. But the program is going to continue on the radio. I want you to continue on the radio. It's mpmgospellive.org. Put that in and click on it. It will take you straight to the radio. All right. So thank you so much for listening, for joining me on social media. So yes, I was saying, listeners, that, I see girls in their uniforms eating on the road and just behaving a certain way. And I just called them and I'd go by beside them and I said, wow, young ladies, you don't eat on the road like that, man, and especially you're in your uniforms. That it doesn't look so nice, and I talk to them in a nice little way, and okay, so just before I go, I see Sylvia sent something, and I'm going to just, okay, happy Mother's Day to my daughter Donna Lee. I pray God's blessing. I pray God bless and keep you. Love you so much. So that's Sylvia, sending Mother's Day greeting to her daughter now, Donna Lee. That's so very nice. Thank you so much for joining me, Donna Lee, Sylvia, and my other viewers. Thank you so very much. Yes, remember to just continue on the radio. So, we have that responsibility as mothers to train up our children in the right way, to show them love, to teach them how to behave